Hello guys and welcome to Odds on La Liga. We are going to analyze with Álvaro Romeo, always the 18th match day of the Spanish competition. We have Osasuna, Real Madrid, we have Granada, Barcelona. So let's analyze every single game also with you. I want to know your opinion, so leave a comment below in the comment section and you will have the chance to win a £10 free bet with Novibet. Besides, if you enjoyed the video, do not forget to click on the like button, subscribe to our channel and click on the bell to get notifications every time we publish new content. And now let's go on with the show. Let's start to analyze the 18th match day of La Liga with Atlético de Madrid always in the first position with Álvaro Romeo. Hello, Álvaro.
Hello, Edu. How are you?
I'm really good, excited with this La Liga match day after we will have a break because it's the Spanish Super Cup. But we have some good games actually, even on Friday evening. We have Celta Villarreal. This is a very good game, although Iago Aspas is injured. He got injured against Real Madrid. Celta lost 2-0, but they played pretty good, I would say. Celta, they were 6 games undefeated until that loss, something that can happen. But let's see how Iago Aspas' absence is going to affect the team, because Villarreal, they went back to the victory to get the 3 points against Levante. Again, Gerard Moreno scored. So Villarreal are favorites here, but probably even the draw could be a likely outcome here.
Yes, I think so. But this time, Edu, I'm going for Villarreal to win away, because I think that that Iago Aspas' absence is key for Celta, and he's going to be very badly missed. He has scored 9 goals this season, and basically Celta has scored 22. So, he has taken part pretty much in half of the goals of Celta this season. Iago Aspas is out for the next month pretty much. Nolito, who can be a very important player at times he's got a soft tissue injury too, so I don't think that he will be playing against Villarreal. So I think that Villarreal is going to win away. On top of that, Gerard Moreno, another great striker, he's having a great form as well. He has scored 9 goals already this season, as good as Iago Aspas, as good as Luis Suarez. So yeah, Villarreal, they know how to do the job when they have to. So far, they have only lost 2 games this season, one against Barcelona, yeah, that's a game that you can lose. Another one against Sevilla, yes, another game you can lose because Sevilla is fighting for the same things as you, but I don't see them dropping points against Celta this time, especially because Iago Aspas is not there. So Villarreal to win away pays 240, and a clean sheet for Villarreal, something that I will consider as well, considering how much cutting edge Celta is losing without Nolito and Iago Aspas, is something that you can consider too. That pays 3.
All right, let's go for Villarreal on Friday. On Saturday, we have another good game. Sevilla Real Sociedad. This is a clash very important for qualifying for the Champions League. Sevilla, they didn't play a good derby against Betis. They got a point thanks to the goal scored by Suso and thanks also to the penalty saved by Bunu. Now they have a really good opportunity to catch Real Sociedad. The Basque Country team is only 3 points above. They again drew a game that they should have won against Osasuna when they played the bottom of the table, or one of the teams in the relegation. They should win at home. So the odds here for Sevilla are quite appealing, actually. 2.31 we can see now on oddspedia.com.
And Edu, I am going for that one. Actually, I'm going to keep that one for my accumulator. I think that Sevilla to win, it's a very appealing one. That pays 231. Even a clean sheet for Sevilla, 262, could be something you could consider. And the thing is that Sevilla, all right, they are not perfect this season. They've been sometimes a little bit, let's say, not very threatening going forward. And that is something that probably Lopetegui is going to try to improve with a new signing in the winter market. And against Betis, probably Sevilla deserved to lose because Fekir missed a penalty. All things considered, this game is going to be played at home for Sevilla. The only team that has won there lately it's been Real Madrid. Sevilla at home, they have been quite safe. and they know how to do the job. So I'm going for those two variables I told you before, and even an Asian handicap of -1 for Sevilla. Let's say that Sevilla wins by more than a 1-goal margin. It's very appealing as well. That will pay 3.75. And considering that Real Sociedad at this stage of the season, they are playing well, but they are missing goals. Defensively, they are not perfect. And on top of that, they can be a little bit tired because they have had a really heavy calendar for a team of their size. I think that Real Sociedad this time is going to drop the points.
Yeah, we are seeing them struggling in the last weeks, even if they won the derby against Athletic. But Real Sociedad is not in a good form. The next game, another good game in Madrid, in the Metropolitano Stadium, Atlético de Madrid, Atletico, probably they are not playing that good, but they are very solid. They did the job against Alaves. In Spain, they are talking about the importance of Luis Suarez, how Barcelona practically gave it for free to Atletico, and he's been involved in 11 goals in these opening games for him with Atlético de Madrid, so he's been key completely, the Uruguayan striker. And on the other hand, we have Athletic with a new coach now. Marcelino is gonna replace Garitano, even if Athletic beat Elche. I don't know if you are happy with Marcelino. He's a very good coach. He showed it in many teams, Valencia, Villarreal. So probably he can do a good job against Athletic, but the first game is very tough, of course.
It is very tough. Well, it will be, in all actuality, it will be the second game because Athletic Club and Barcelona will play midweek before this game. But all the things you say, they are absolutely right. I think that Marcelino was one of the best managers available. I think that Marcelino is a manager who always gets the best of their teams. The question is, can he make Athletic Club Bilbao much better than what they are now? At the end of the day, they are 9th on the table, and I know they haven't been appealing, they haven't been very entertaining so far, but at the same time, the squad is not as strong as it was when Ernesto Valverde was Athletic Club manager, let alone Marcelo Bielsa's times. So maybe Athletic Club has to understand as well that with the squad they've got now, being mid-table, maybe close to the 7th or 8th position, is not that bad. Okay, fine. Marcelino is going to bring new air and new ideas, and that is going to be very refreshing, that's for sure. All things considered, and all that said, I would say that Atlético de Madrid is likely to win this game, and if you go for a win to nil, which is a classic Atlético de Madrid, they have done it 8 times this season, that pays 2.10, and I think that is very interesting as well. The over and under market is something that I would have a look to, because an under 2, Athletic Club Bilbao is very solid defensively. Atlético de Madrid, they don't score many goals, so let's say that Atlético wins by a short margin, and under 2 goals, that pays 1.97, so pretty much duplicates your money.
Marcelino has very difficult 3 first games, Barcelona, Atlético de Madrid, and then the Spanish Super Cup against Real Madrid. So not easy for the coach. Let's see how he does with Athletic Club. Then we have Granada, Barcelona, tough game for the Blaugranas. They were able to beat Huesca. They played a very good first half, missing a lot of chances, but at the end they suffer. We saw again Griezmann on the bench, but at least the last 2 games away were victories against Valladolid and Huesca, and now they have 4 more games away in a row. So the first one is in Los Cármenes. It's always tough. They lost on the road against Eibar, but at home only defeat this season was against Valladolid. So I don't know if you see Barcelona dropping points here.
I could, and I'm going for the double chance in this game. I think that the double chance market is very interesting when Barcelona plays away. So a victory or a draw for Granada, the victory, that pays 2.52. It's very interesting because Barcelona away from home, they've been really bad. They only got 10 points away from home this season, and if 2 important players are out, obviously that's going to make Barcelona make it more difficult for them to win. And when it comes to Granada, well, they had an excellent 2020. This season they have been so good at home that they got 17 points there already, and last season they beat Barcelona 2-0 at Los Cármenes, so that's why I'm going for the double chance, that's for sure. And there is another market that I would like to underline as well, the over and under market. Well, an under 2, let's say that Granada gets a good positive result, a draw or a win, under small margins, an under 2 pays 4, and that is basically multiplying by 4 your bet is always a good thing to do, of course.
Yeah, for sure. The odds for Barcelona not really appealing. 1.62 playing away, always risky. With Koeman on the bench, is more reliable to bet on Real Madrid. They are traveling to Pamplona to face Osasuna, although Real Madrid weren't able to beat Elche in their last away game against a team of the bottom of the table. Osasuna, they are being competitive. They struggle a lot to win. Actually, their last victory was in October, but we just saw how they were able to draw against Real Sociedad, whereas Real Madrid did the job against Celta. Probably they didn't play that well, but some good news. Asensio is coming back finally. Hazard played some more minutes, but it was statistics that called my attention here, that Real Madrid had only 41% of possession against Celta, so they are able even to defend properly without the ball. This Real Madrid, which odds are only 1.52 to win away, something that they must do for sure.
Yeah, they must do that, and I think that Real Madrid, the good thing about them is that they recover the competitive ability that they managed to have from June until July. I think that Zinedine Zidane knows very clearly that he cannot do crazy rotations, and there are 2 or 3 places up for grabs. Just the wings up front, playing next to Benzema, and yeah, that could be it really. And I think that Asensio and Lucas Vázquez, they proved again in the last game of Real Madrid that they are getting better. Lucas Vázquez, he's been really solid this season. Let's see if he extends his contract. This is going to be interesting. And Marco Asensio, in the last game, he gave 1 assist. He scored a goal. So I think that Real Madrid is in a very positive mood, and I think that December has been very soothing for Real Madrid because many wounds have been healed. On the other hand, Osasuna, I think that in the last 5 games, they have had 1 positive result against Real Sociedad, that draw, that was not enough anyway, but they lost against Valladolid, they drew with Elche. That is not enough to eject yourself from the relegation zone. So I think that Osasuna is going to lose this game. I cannot see them beating Real Madrid, even though historically playing at El Sadar or Reino de Navarra has been difficult for Real Madrid, but this time I can see Real Madrid scoring in both halves. That pays 225. I'm going to keep that one for the accumulator. And a win 2-0 for Real Madrid is also a very interesting one because Osasuna doesn't score many. A win 2-0 pays 260.
Real Madrid, they now have a very easy calendar until playing Atalanta in the Champions League. So if they want to fight for the title in La Liga with Atletico de Madrid, they shouldn't drop points against teams like Osasuna. On Saturday, we have many good games fighting for the Champions League positions or the title. On Sundays, everything about the relegation battle, starting from the first one, Levante Eibar. Levante, they lost against Villarreal, but they were in a very good game this run. It was only their second defeat in 11 games. And Eibar, they were able to beat Granada with Bryan Gil scoring a brace. Actually, is only the second player born in the 21st century to score a brace in La Liga Santander after Ansu Fati. So 2 teams that, even if they are fighting against relegation, Alvaro, I see them in Primera División next year as well.
I agree with that, Edu. I think that Eibar, they have been quite clever doing the recruitment last summer, and probably keeping Mendilibar year after year is something that when you will look at it in the future, you will identify that as the key for Eibar to stay so many seasons in the top flight. It's going to be 7 years. 7 years in the top flight for a club that it was second division or third division material. I think that this game is going to be very interesting. You know that La Liga, and I've repeated this in the past, in La Liga there are not many clubs who can score many goals. but at the same time, this Levante Eibar, I don't know why, I got the feeling that this is going to be a good scoring game. Because Eibar, they've got Kike Garcia, Brian Hill up front. Levante, we know that they are very happy when it comes to going forward with Roger Martí, with Morales, with many players who can score from different positions. So these two teams are decent sides. So I'm going for the following: both teams to score. That pays 280, and an Asian handicap of 0 for Eibar. And this is very interesting. Pays 228. And I do believe that Eibar is going to make this game go to the tight margins.
That's interesting. They were able to beat Sevilla and Betis, for instance, on the road. They drew against Barcelona. So Eibar is not bad away from home for sure. Then we have Cádiz Alavés. With these two teams, I wouldn't put my hand on the fire to say that they will stay in Primera División next year, even if Cádiz, they started really well this season. They drew against Valencia. It's a good result, but they haven't won a single game since they beat Barcelona. It's been 5 games without a victory, and now they face Alavés. They fought against Atletico, but they are not as well that informed. And I see a statistic also about Cádiz, only 33.3% of possession in these first months in La Liga. That's really, really low, but still they are competing. I can see here a very low scoring game.
Yeah, and I do believe that maybe that thing about the possession you say explains a little bit Cádiz's latest run of results, because they are a team that if they don't have the ball, obviously they have to make a monumental effort to stay tight and to defend and to run and to make sure that they don't open the channels for the opponent, you know. So it could be the case that Cádiz is a little bit tired now, and especially let's don't forget that when the rest of La Liga teams they were resting in summer, Cádiz was still, you know, playing in the Segunda División because they needed to qualify and promote to La Liga. So I think that all this is piling up and it's affecting Cádiz a little bit. As you said, they've been winless for the last month. They got a decent result against Valencia on Monday. Choco Lozano scored. They drew against Valencia. And Alavés lost to Atletico. Currently, by the way, Alavés is training in the Athletic Club facilities because Vitoria, the city where the Alavés is from, it's under the snow. It has been snowed in. So I don't know if this is going to be interesting or playing a part as well. The players won't be able to rest a lot this week because they have to travel to Bilbao to play football or to train. For this game, I'm going for a clear draw. A draw pays 297. And if you think or if you disagree with me a little bit, check the Asian handicap, because an Asian handicap of 0 pretty much duplicates your money.
All right. A team that has been playing a lot also during the summer is Elche. They had to play even the playoff to be promoted to Primera División, and now they face Getafe. Getafe, we always say they should win, and last weekend they even lost against Valladolid. Probably they deserve more points, but they lack power attack. Actually, we are seeing in this game the two worst teams in the scoring section in La Liga. Only 13 goals for Elche, 12 for Getafe. An obvious bet here is under 2.5 goals. I don't know if you see Getafe winning here, but the odds are very low to trust the Bordalás team.
I know, it's tricky because, you know, last season, it's funny to think about it now, but last season in August, Getafe was playing against Inter in the Europa League. Look, I think that the most concerning result of the season for Getafe happened last game day when they lost 1-0 at home against Valladolid. There have been this season some losses that they are unacceptable for Getafe, losing against Valladolid, losing against Levante. I think that it was a 3-0 for Paco's team, and I do believe that Getafe has to improve. I know that Bordalás is the right man. In fact, Bordalás is the manager with most games, for Getafe, 189 games, and I think that he knows how to steer the ship in the right direction. So this time, despite Getafe not having the ability to score because they lost Jorge Molina, and I think that they are missing him, I think that Getafe is going to win away 217, that is the money you will get, and an Asian handicap of, for example, minus 0.5 for Getafe, that duplicates your money as well. So this time I'm going for them for a very simple reason. Getafe can be a much better team than Elche, and Elche, let's don't forget it, they are winless in the last 10 games, and they are in the worst run in 32 years, in 3 decades. So this is a team that is suffering, and gradually, slowly but surely, they are going down in La Liga table.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's one of the candidates to be relegated. Imagine if the bookies don't expect goals, that the under 2.5 goals market is paid only 1.47 right now on Oddspedia.com. So probably we won't see many goals in the Martínez Valero in Elche. Let's see what happened at Zorrilla, Valladolid, Valencia. I'm looking forward to hearing your opinion about Valencia again, and if you see them beating Valladolid, because Valladolid are competing way better lately. In the last 9 games, only 2 defeats was against Atletico and Barcelona. So it's a team that, even if they are, of course, in the bottom of the table, I think they are going up and up. Whereas Valencia, they only have 16 points. Now they have the same points as the relegation zone. And actually, we have to go to the season 82-83 to see Valencia with less points after 17 match games. And we have to say also that these 3 campaigns that they had very little points, 16, they avoid relegation. So these are some good news, some bad news, but here Valladolid, Álvaro, favorite 2.55.
Yes, I guess that they have to be. Also, I think that if we single out names, I think that Sean Weissman, their striker, he is getting better and better, and that is great news for Valladolid. He scored already 3 goals this season. He scored against Getafe, and Valladolid are a very improved team. They have clinched 8 out of the last 15 points. They are competitive again. They started the season very badly, and they are catching up with their level. And Valencia, they are in terrible trouble. I mean, you know that I've got some faith in them, because I do believe that the youngsters are very good. But yesterday I was hearing to the former captain, David Valverde, speaking, and he was saying that, you know, the problem with Valencia is that there are no experienced players in there, and he's absolutely right. I mean, they lost Coquelin, they lost Parejo, and they lost Kondogbia. Those are 3 experienced midfielders. And Valencia has lost that, to the point that now they have to play in the midfield with Carlos Soler, who is a great player, but he was supposed to be a winger, not a midfielder. So the backbone of Valencia is shattered, is gone, and that is translating to the pitch and to the table. Look, I think that Valencia this time, I'm going to believe in them once again. Valencia to win away pays 3.13. I've got faith in them because they've got quality, despite being young quality, but they've got quality. And there is another parameter that you may like, which is both teams to score. That pays 195, but if you believe that the opposite will happen, both teams not to score, also duplicates your money. But I think that both teams are going to score this time.
Yeah, for sure. I don't believe Valencia is winning this game. I never trust Valencia.
And Edu, if you don't mind, let's see if Javi Gracia is the manager of Valencia, because there is still few days until that game happens, and we do know that Javi Gracia basically resigned about 2 months ago, but the board didn't accept his resignation.
Let's see, for sure. Yeah, I think that Valladolid are favorites also, and I would back them in this game. In the last one on Monday evening, really cold in the north of Spain, Huesca Betis. Huesca is being the worst team so far in La Liga. They compete, but again, another team that struggle a lot to score. Another coach that is in danger, Mitchell. Actually, he was almost crying after the game against Barcelona. He was very worried about losing his job, and they face Betis. We saw Betis improving against Sevilla, but we always say the same. It's very difficult to trust Betis. It's very difficult to place our bets in Pellegrini's men. And actually, if we check the odds, they give us, as a result, a draw.
I know, it's very difficult to trust on Betis because they don't have a reliable defense and they don't have a great striker. I mean, I did like Borja Iglesias, but for whatever the reason, he is not prolific at Betis, and I think that this is costing the team. All this said, I think that Betis was very good against Sevilla. I don't know if that was a one-off or not, because you always improve your attitude towards derby match, and Betis against Sevilla were excellent. I did like Lainez, the Mexican guy, young player, very skillful. He can dribble past players, and I think that Lainez and Fekir, they both have dribbling abilities, and that is going to be very refreshing for Betis as the season progresses. This time I'm going for Betis to win away. They are a better team that pays 257, and this is a very odd one, I know, Edu, but listen to this. Since his arrival to La Liga, Nabil Fekir, the former Olympique Lyon player, has been fouled 9 times in the box, and he has given 9 penalties to Betis. So Fekir is in the mood. In the last 2 games, Betis has taken 3 penalties in the last 2 games, and I can see them here scoring a penalty. Why not? That pays 6, and that is my odd bet of the week.
Hopefully Canales take it. He's more reliable than Fekir. Betis have so many good players. I thought they were going to be in European positions this season, so they have to win in El Alcoraz. Then Alvaro, the only thing missing here is your ACA selection for the weekend.
Yeah, this is my accumulator. Sevilla to win, Atlético de Madrid to win 2-0, Real Madrid to score in both halves against Osasuna, and Getafe to win away at Elche.
With some suspense, the odds are
23-68.
Okay, we are lowering the odds. 23 for our odds for this La Liga match day. Thank you, Alvaro. We have everything ready for placing our bets.
Thank you, Edu. Always a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye. You heard Alvaro. He does not trust Barcelona, but he does trust Valencia. Let me know if you agree with him in the comment section. You will have the chance to win a £10 free bet with Novibet. Just write a comment to participate in the draw. And do not forget to click on the like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to our channel, and click on the bell to get all the notifications. You can also listen to all our videos in our podcast. And next week we will analyze the Spanish Super Cup, always with Álvaro Romeo.